And hello again, YouTube. It is Monday, February 20th, 6:26 p.m. I'm on my way to work at Amazon. Oh my goodness, didn't expect that cough. Heading out a little later than normal, and suddenly got a strong craving for a Mountain Dew, and realizing all the Mountain Dew that I have on me are warm. Well, that sucks. Wow, and also realizing that I got my Sip and Save yesterday morning. So not this morning, which in my head feels like yesterday morning because it was after I slept for the day, but the morning before. And realizing that it's too late for me to really stop at Circle K and get a drink, most likely. That sucks. I could really go for a cold Mountain Dew right now. All the ones that I have on me are warm. I have a bag of ones that I bought from work yesterday. And then I spent the day at Priscilla's place, most of the day. And she gave me a couple to go. Also warm. So, damn, that sucks. That's not what I was going to talk about. I just looked down and saw the Mountain Dews in the bag from work. Oh God, now that's all I can think about is how bad I want a cold Mountain Dew. Oh, it sucks. So what I did want to talk about is just how crazy it was at work last night. Last night is the first night that from the beginning of the shift to the end of the shift that I 100% was the pallet receive guy. Now, I did have a day, I'm trying to remember what was last week or the week before, that I primarily focused on pallet receive. That was actually Super Bowl Sunday. But it's really hard to say that I was doing the job of pallet receive. What I was doing was so above and beyond that because on Super Bowl Sunday, just the bulk majority of the staff just simply didn't show up for work. Now I've stated many times before, probably the most unusual thing about Amazon, and one thing that makes it a unique place to work. Oh, speaking of Amazon, there's one of those electric fans right there on the right. I just find that weird long wraparound taillight to be kind of hypnotizing. Anyway, it's no, the fact that anybody can pretty much come and go as they please, as long as they've got the oh my goodness, wake up, as long as they've got the UPT, PTO available to do it, or they put in a vacation request in advance, which I think I've only ever actually done that once. I have a lot of vacation time racked up, but I've just never really, like, I had one time I used it to do my show at Bullocks because it was they had called in mandatory overtime, and for some reason they had shift swap locked out. And I managed to get my manager, who at the time was Sean, to approve it. Because I mean, I straight up said, "Look, I have this other obligation. I don't have enough UPT and PTO to cover a full shift. So, like, either this gets approved, or I don't come in, and y'all lose somebody that's a hard worker with a good work ethic, that's cross-trained all over the place. So I go work at another warehouse. What you want?" Anyway, that's the way that it is. There are times where there's just not a lot of people there because people just decide to take the day off. And nobody really knows like who's going to show up and who's not going to show up, because it's not like other places of employment where if you want off, you need to call out and get approval or anything. You got the time, you just do it. I mean, shoot, most of the time I take off, it's because I oversleep. It's because I oversleep, or I'm just not feeling good. I mean, sometimes it's just my head, you know, just mentally in a really dark space. But anyway, whatever. I just simply don't come in until I feel awake, alive, and motivated enough to come in. And that's completely acceptable for Amazon. I tell you, my attendance, my habit of doing that at any other employer, I'd have lost my job by now, and I know this. I mean, shit. Look at the way Volux went down. You know, I've only ever missed in the roughly 2 years I worked there. I only ever missed 2 shifts, and on the first one, which I don't remember the circumstances of the first one. I think it had a lot to do with, you know, it's probably the same sort of thing where I was just super exhausted, tired, and depressed, and just didn't wake up. But yeah, when the second one happened, I mean, I get a text message from the owner telling me, "Oh, I'm sick of your crap. You're not here in a hurry. You're fired." I don't show up at Amazon. It just doesn't matter. Like nobody says boo. Nobody thinks anything of it. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that are, you know, at some point wonder, kind of wonder where Dan is. Like, Daniel's usually here. Like, wonder what's up with that. I mean, shit. I had. I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, because I haven't been vlogging as much the last few days. But Saturday night, I overslept big time. Saturday, which isn't even my regular shift. Like that's a voluntary extra time shift. And it was kind of funny. Like I was texting Priscilla about it, and she's like, "Well, isn't this just an extra overtime shift for you anyway?" Which she's right. It is. But I told her, it's like, yeah, once you commit to a shift in the app, like it's your shift. It's you know, because she was like, "Well, isn't it not mandatory?" And it's like, well, you know, once you commit to a shift at Amazon, like it's as mandatory as any other shift, as mandatory as a shift is at Amazon, which isn't really the same thing that mandatory is. It's a pretty loose definition of mandatory. So, but yeah, I showed up. I clocked in at I want to say like 1:55 in the morning. And as I mentioned in my video yesterday, I did end up just putting PTO on all of it because it put me upside down on my UPT. And I didn't want to start the chain of events that comes with that. Oh God, that reminds me, I still haven't got on my A to Z and made sure that my text messages are going to the iPhone, not the Obama phone. Anyway, loving this holiday light traffic, by the way. I'm sure what holiday it is today. President's Day or something? I guess enough people are off work that the traffic is a lot more low-key than normal. It was that way in the morning going home. Well, actually, I didn't go home. I went to Priscilla's place, but yeah. And that was good. That's all I got to say about that. It was good. That was something that happened on a every couple of days basis. I don't think I would ever refer to her as the so-called girlfriend. Just saying. So, yeah, I overslept big time Saturday. I did actually wake up on time, and I'd been day drinking Saturday morning, and I was somewhere in that fun limbo between slightly hungover and damn, I think I'm still drunk. I'm not even sure what all I was drinking. All I know is that like my friend and I had some first call drinks at the Wander Inn. I had a Bloody Mary, and I think he had a picture of dark beer. And then once we got to my place, he's just like, no, I'm good. I'm drinking tea, which is a good thing. Like, he had to drive across town, later in the day, and I just, after he rolled, I just climbed into bed and passed the fuck out. So yeah, there's no. Well, I can't say there's no reason for me not to keep drinking. I mean, I did kind of fuck off work later that night, and that wasn't my intentions. But yeah, I felt like just crap when my alarms woke me up, and I'm just like, oh hell no. And I did make an effort to set alarms. I want to say I set alarms for like 10:30, 11-ish. And in my head I was thinking, well, I'll get there around 11, maybe work an hour before lunch, or maybe I'll take my time getting ready, and I'll do the thing where I come in during the lunch break and just lose an even 5 hours of UPT. I wonder if I have 5 hours to lose. Kind of undecided about that. Anyway, it ends up being completely irrelevant. I slept right through those alarms. Slept right through them. Woke up after midnight. Well after midnight. To a text message from Priscilla asking if I'd gone to work. Now, granted, the night before she had stayed the night at my place, and I didn't make any plans with her because I knew I had to work. She didn't ask me if I had to work. Actually, I take that back. No, she didn't. She didn't stay the night. Because the night before that was Thursday. It was the night before that was Friday. It was Thursday night she stayed the night at my place. Friday I worked. Friday I worked the whole shift. Friday was a good night at work. It was Saturday, and then after work, day drinking, hung out at my place. Hung out at Wander Inn for a while. Saw the owner there with the tragic news that his girlfriend, partner, wife, I don't think they were actually married. I'm really not sure, but I know they used to be, like, if I'd come in for first call, they'd be in the bar together, hanging out. She was she was always super, super sweet and friendly to me. And he said that she had passed away just recently, so that was kind of sad. That was very sad. Had a lot more detail in it than honestly I wanted, but like obviously Quentin was hurting inside from that and needed somebody to listen. So kind of glad he thought highly enough of me to share that with me. So, but not gonna lie, I was quite happy when my friend showed up and kind of saved me through that conversation, because I'm not someone who takes death and loss very, very well, and it just seems like I've had considerably more of it in recent years. And I get the feeling that's just kind of something that comes with being the age that I am. Once you've made it into your 50s, you realize how many of your friends and relatives didn't. And you also realize how many of your friends and relatives are generations older than you, and it's their time. I mean, on that note, big news this week is that President Jimmy Carter is on hospice care, and I'm sure the news will be coming very soon that he passed away, with his family surrounding him in Georgia, and say what you want of his presidency and his politics. I mean, I was in grade school when he was president. I remember that my dad absolutely couldn't stand him. And I remember when he gave speeches that I enjoyed listening to. And from all accounts, it seems like he was a really good man who lived a good life and probably believed in peace too much. But did a lot of charitable things. Just add that to the list of, and that's not even somebody I knew personally, that's just somebody that's, whatever. I mean, it's just not even death of people I know personally that affects me. I mean, a lot of times it's just people that I'm fans of, as actors or musicians or whatever. And sometimes it's, one of the ones that tend to really hit me a lot is when it's musicians that I did marginally know personally and was fans of. I mean, Chester Bennington's suicide hit me pretty hard. On that note, there's a newly released Linkin Park song out. Videos, animated. It's really cool. Really good song. Apparently there were some demo vocals that Mike Shinoda was sitting on, and Mike finished the song. And it sounds like classic era Linkin Park. I don't know the full story of the song. Maybe it's just a studio outtake. But at any rate, it's a hell of a good song if it was an outtake that just didn't make it to the album. I don't know the full story of it. I should really look it up. I just gave it a few listens and watched it, and was kind of frustrated I didn't really have chords handy to listen to it on anything better than my iPhone speaker, because it would have been something worth cranking up on the bedroom or the room sound system. Now, speaking of people losing people, one of my coworkers that I've at times had a mild crush on when I've talked about her before, and in the interest of kind of giving her a little privacy and respect, I don't want to drop her name. I sat and chatted with her for a good solid 30 plus minutes. I actually met her son yesterday. I think she's kind of crushing on me now, which is kind of unexpected because I felt like she had blown me off. But she's been going through it tragedy-wise, but has had six close relatives pass in the span of about 6 weeks, and had her daughter get brutally mugged and attacked. Her daughter about a year younger than my older daughter. So it's a hell of a strong woman that she's making it through all that. The more she like, she had a picture of her, from the funeral, like the little program, whatever you call it, that they have with a picture and a eulogy and stuff in it. Had one for her sister, had one for her sister's mother, which they had the same father, different mothers, but apparently she was pretty close to her sister's mother, which is something that happens in situations like that. And for what it's worth, I'm reasonably close to my youngest sister's father. The man who was the father of most of my siblings, I was very, very close to. And the man that was the father to my third oldest sibling who passed away a few years ago, I hardly knew. But he passed away when I was really young. And his own daughter never had a chance to even get to know him because he passed away so young. Anyway, I wasn't going to be talking about death. I was going to be talking about things that have been happening at work. I don't remember how the hell I got on the subject of that. My memory is so freaking spotty. But anyway, I hope my friend at work's alright. She was she was telling me. And then on top of that, like because of it, she's been having to take a lot of bereavement leave. And because a lot of people at Amazon, oh yeah, that's one of your other ways to get time off work. So it's so easy to get time off work, but sometimes you need more. There's also medical leave. I've used medical leaves before when I was having my dental issues last year. But yeah, one of the other options is bereavement leave. You can take a certain amount of time just to deal with the death of a near relative, and it's kind of interesting. There's very clear-cut definitions of what is and is not a qualifying relative. And I remember at one point being really frustrated about it because, like, Priscilla's father would count, but my own nephew would not count. And certainly I've at times been very close to some of my nieces and nephews. So this was a time when my niece had passed last year. So then I found that out, which it ended up being a non-issue because I absolutely couldn't afford to take the time off work or go to Oklahoma. Afford to go to Oklahoma, so I just worked through it. But yeah, there's and it's something I've seen a lot in the Amazon FC subreddit is some people are actually boasting about abusing bereavement leave as a way to get time off, which to me is just really dirty. And consequently, like, Amazon HR has kind of upped their standards on what they require. Wow. Speaking of Holiday Light, there is a lot of space in this parking lot. Damn. Of course, I'm getting here a little earlier than normal, but no, it's 6:50. There should be way more people in this parking lot. Oh, look at this VIP parking. So anyway, that's why she had all her paperwork, like all the cut out obituaries from stuff, and then documentation showing how she was related to all these various relatives, and receipts showing, like, receipts for burials and receipts for transportation of bodies. Her stuff involved having to go to several different states. I don't even remember them all. I just remember that one of them was Virginia and one of them was Texas. And she was telling me about just less distant relatives that are just bickering and making the whole situation unpleasant because they're worried about who's going to inherit houses and cars, and she's just, and she's not even the least bit concerned about houses and cars. Like, she's hurting inside because people she was close to all passed, all just at once. I was really going to talk about what happened at work. Now my head's just in a completely different place. Work related, her and I also had a conversation about the Stuff It, and it was kind of comforting to hear that she was having the same kind of problems with it I was. Other than that's her department. She works over there, so she's got to deal with it every day. At least I had the luxury of, after half a shift, going, well, that was entertaining, and putting my hard hat on the shelf. Or actually, I put my hard hat in the bin to be cleaned. I'm sure it's back on the shelf in slot number, I think D67. God, if only two people could have got their hard hats before me, I could have had D69. I really, really wanted that, but the other two people were there. I couldn't. They were lollygagging and wandered off and didn't get their hard hats assigned. Somebody else got that. Anyway, Ash told me she had many of the same issues with running into Stuff It, but she's got to deal with it all the time. Whereas I had, I get to go back to outbound, back to my forklift. Speaking of outbound on my forklift, last night was crazy. I said I did pallet receive all night. I was going to go into more detail about that, but I'm kind of out of time for that. But all considered, I think they went really well with it. And I'm actually looking forward to maybe doing that again tonight. Yesterday I just did it because I felt like I fell into it. Like, I just saw what was shaping. I didn't even stick around for stand-up. I saw how Kimberly was doing the board with magnets and with drivers that are so new that they don't have magnets. She had to write their name in. And I looked at that and I was like, my first question is, oh damn, who's going to do TDR? And she's like, well, I'm going to have to do it. And I'm thinking, well, that's not good. And then I said, wow. As voices in my head were screaming, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And I said, well, looks like I'm the only one that even has a clue how to do pallet receive. I better get on it. And I just walked away. I didn't stick around for anything else. And the first thing I did, now I was actually surprised. I've talked some shit about Jesus and how he has kind of propensity for being super lazy on the pit and spending a large amount of his shift just leaning on his forklift doing nothing. But I got to give him props, man. He worked his ass off last night and was beyond picking up slack for loading trucks. When I got there, he was already there, busting his ass loading trucks. I think he quickly realized like how short-handed they were as well. It was just like, this was the day I got to be a hero. It was actually a nice change of pace for him. Anyway, I got there, realized we had 2 doors that needed open, and I actually got somebody from Fluid to go. I went over to Fluid and talked to their PAs and got them to send somebody over to open the doors. I'm just like, yeah, we're going to be short-handed today. Can I get some help, please? Anyway, it was a good day at work. I'd love to sit and talk more about it, but I need to get in there and get on it. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on the ride. Thanks for listening. And try to appreciate the people in your lives, because, my God, you never know when they're going to be gone. Everything just feels like it's forever until it's not, you know?